Hello Internet, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic, Avengers Doomsday, and not gonna lie, this one hits different. If you've been keeping up with Marvel leaks lately, you already know the internet has been in full meltdown mode. Between rumored crossovers, multiverse chaos, and Doctor Doom stepping into the spotlight, things are getting kinda wild. But the newest report might be the biggest yet, because according to fresh leaks, Avengers Doomsday may be structured as a full 5-act movie. Yeah, 5 acts, not 3, not 4, 5. And if that's true, it suddenly explains why people are whispering about a runtime that creeps dangerously close to 4 hours. That's longer than Endgame, longer than Infinity War, and honestly, kind of insane by Marvel standards. So today, we're breaking everything down. What these 5 acts reportedly are, how they fit into what we've already seen, and why this movie could be setting up something even bigger than we expect. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the runtime rumors. Marvel Studios is known for being very precise with movie length. Even their longest films usually hover right around the 3-hour mark. That's been their comfort zone. Avengers Endgame pushed the limit, and even then, it felt like the absolute ceiling. So when reports started floating around that Avengers Doomsday could be nearly 3 hours and 45 minutes, a lot of fans raised an eyebrow. Low-key, that's a massive commitment. But here's the thing, if this movie really does have 5 distinct acts, that length might actually make sense. You can't tell a multiverse-spanning story with the Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men, the TVA, Doctor Doom, and possibly villains all aligning in 2.5 hours. No chance. This kind of structure suggests something way more ambitious, almost like Marvel is treating this less like a traditional superhero movie and more like an event film broken into chapters. And that's where things get really interesting. Before we go further, quick reality check. This information comes from a relatively new online scoop source. While they've been active around the Avengers Doomsday news cycle, they don't yet have a long, proven track record. So yes, take everything with a grain of salt. That said, what makes this leak worth discussing is how well it lines up with known casting, teaser footage, previous industry chatter, and long-standing Marvel storytelling patterns. In other words, even if some details shift, the overall structure feels believable. So let's walk through the 5 reported acts and what each one could mean for the story. The first act reportedly centers on the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom entering Earth 616, the main Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, what's fascinating here is that the leak doesn't clearly state whether Doom arrives as an enemy or as an ally, and that ambiguity matters. Some earlier rumors suggested that Doctor Doom may already be connected to the Fantastic Four, possibly traveling with them under the guise of cooperation. If that's true, it would be peak Doom behavior, manipulating events from the shadows while pretending to be on the same side. The goal, position himself at the heart of the multiverse. This also lines up with the idea that Doom is aware of Loki's role at the center of reality and sees that throne is something he deserves. Main character energy. For real. One thing worth clearing up. There's been a fake AI-generated trailer floating around showing Doom next to Ben Grimm. That footage is not real. However, the actual teaser does show the Fantastic Four arriving, and some fans noticed framing choices that suggest characters may have been digitally removed to avoid spoilers. Marvel has done this before. You can already tell they're playing defense with this movie. Now here's where things go from exciting to straight-up legendary. According to the leak, actor features a full-on conflict between the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men. Not teaming up, not misunderstanding for 5 minutes. An actual clash. This would reportedly take place in the X-Men's universe, and based on recent teaser footage, that world is already in rough shape. Sentinels appear to be winning, The X-Men have suffered serious losses, and emotionally, the vibe is heavy. This sets the stage perfectly for tension. Imagine the Avengers showing up during the X-Men's darkest hour, only for things to spiral into conflict instead of cooperation. Fans have been waiting years for an Avengers versus X-Men moment, and Marvel knows it. Iconic matchups, emotional stakes, and enough spectacle to carry an entire movie on its own. And that's just Act 2. No joke, this could be one of the most talked about sequences in MCU history. Act 3 is where things shift from multiversal chaos to full-blown existential threat. This act reportedly centers on a major battle at the TVA. We already know the TVA plays a crucial role in maintaining timelines, and we've seen hints, including behind-the-scenes confirmations, that at least one major Avenger makes it there. What's wild is that this isn't the finale. A TVA battle in the middle of the movie implies non-stop escalation. Timeline security collapsing, Doom making his move, and heroes realizing that the threat isn't just physical, it's reality itself. This is vintage Marvel in the best way. Big ideas, big action, and stakes that feel cosmic without losing emotional grounding. Every great Avengers movie has one thing in common: an army. Act 4 reportedly delivers exactly that, featuring the Avengers facing off against Doombots and Sentinels. This is where Doom's true scale becomes clear. Not just a villain, but a strategist with infinite resources. There have been rumors about multiple versions of Doom or a Council of Doom, but a more grounded interpretation makes a lot of sense here. Those extra Dooms, probably machines. Doombots everywhere. Sentinels overwhelming the battlefield. Heroes pushed to their limits. This act is about realization, the moment when everyone understands who's really behind the chaos, and how close they are to losing. The final act is described as heroes and villains uniting against Dr. Doom, and that's huge. Up until this point, conflicts are fragmented, heroes fighting heroes, factions clashing, armies colliding. But now, everything snaps into focus. Doom is the threat. The problem is, by the time everyone figures that out, it might already be too late. And here's the question that changes everything. If Doomsday ends with everyone facing Doom together, what does that leave for Avengers Secret Wars? That mystery alone makes this movie feel less like a conclusion and more like a launching pad for something even bigger. Can Marvel top Endgame? So, is this real? Maybe, maybe not. But if even half of this structure is accurate, Avengers Doomsday is shaping up to be one of the most ambitious superhero films ever made. Non-stop action, massive crossover moments, emotional stakes, and a villain who might actually live up to the hype. Will it be better than Infinity War or Endgame? That's a tough call. But honestly, I'd rather Marvel aim high and take risks than play it safe. Now I want to hear from you. How hyped are you for Avengers Doomsday? Do you like the idea of a 5-act Marvel movie? And can Secret Wars still raise the bar after this? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.